Welcome back to A Faster Me. We're at the Ontario Crit. Majestic is putting it on. First race of the season. Definitely a little nervous, but less nervous with some teammates in the race. So gonna go meet up with them and do a little warm up and get ready to go. So
This is
for tuning
definitely
in.
going to be an exciting race. I felt awesome out here. We're having 3 teammates, Carolyn, Emily, and Evy, getting started here. Had a difficult time clipping in, but just stayed calm.
So yeah, if you look at these juniors, they have junior gearing, and look at their cadence. And what I want to point out here on their cadence is acceleration. All right, so an easy gear, high cadence equals acceleration. And if those girls were a little stronger, they'd be pretty hard to catch out front. So just at the start of a race, make sure you're in the proper gearing, spin it up. You don't need to put a lot of fatigue in your legs. And this young lady here, we really want to give a shout out to. She did an awesome job all day. And you look at her cadence, she's the only one with a slow cadence. And that's something she'll have to learn because she's pushing too big of a gear right now. But she did an awesome job. She never quit all day and raced a couple times.
So it's definitely a lot easier than my only other crit experience, which was Tour de Marietta, where I was in with the 3 to 5s and I was quickly dropped and lapped. This race feels a little bit more comfortable. The pace is doesn't feel that hot. Just going at a decent, comfortable pace here. I just wanted to kind of stick with our plan of staying with the group and just trying to be comfortable actually racing and riding, as I still am a little bit less comfortable riding next to a lot of people, but this felt pretty comfortable.
Well, I'll tell you one thing from my race, the experience I had, you say it's not that hot, but it's not really that slow either, because miles per hour wise, you guys are going slower than us, and it may look slow on video. When I was with the group, we're doing 26 to 31 miles per hour. When I got separated from the group, I was pushing 22 miles per hour at like almost 300 watts. So it's a big difference from being in a larger group or in a smaller group, or just being lighter weight in the wind.
Yeah, I also felt a little bit more comfortable being familiar with 2 riders who you can see in front of us. Felicia from PRT, and I think that's Darren in the SDBC with the green helmet up in front also. So you might recognize her from Pit Shenanigans from my first race, the UCLA road race. So if you haven't checked that out, feel free to jump on over and get your amusement for the day with some mishaps. But anyway, you can see that the lines are a lot wider than maybe the most efficient,
The optimum line.
yes,
Yeah.
the optimum line.
Yeah.
So I was kind of keeping that in the back of my head just for later in the race when I decided that I wanted to try to move up a few spaces or move around in the peloton a little bit.
So, yeah, and another thing I want to point out here, just the difference of races when you get into tight spaces like this. If you see Darren, she's in front of us right here with the yellow gloves and helmet in the SDBC, but she's in her drops. That's a good, solid riding position. If she gets bumped, she has a lot more stability. And then you see the other women, a lot of them are on the hoods. You don't have that much control over your hood. So if someone bumps you and your handlebar goes left or right, your bike's going to want to break off of its axis pretty fast. So you're going to go to a pretty sharp lean angle, in a heartbeat. So try to stay with a good, comfortable, solid riding position. There's a young lady up here in white bibs that she does a good job. I believe she's the only one that I see in her drops the entire race. And she looks really solid and stable. Most of the time, decent lines as well.
And Felicia, right here in front of me, a lot of credit to her. She actually ended up winning the race and kind of took me under her wing early on when I was a ball of nerves, and just kind of gave us a lot of tips on racing and riding and definitely appreciate her a lot. It was fun to be out there riding with her, and congratulations for a win. I think maybe her first win, so great job, Felicia.
Yeah, I saw her after the race. She was definitely excited, but humble as always. It was her first win, and if you look at where she's at, even though she's in the wind a little bit, and for her, she has a lot of experience, so the pace isn't as hot to her, but she's actually the one taking the correct lines. If this was a little faster pace, she's actually going on the correct line. She just doesn't want to veer. I'm speaking for her, but she doesn't want to veer off too far and be in the wind by herself. But she's taking the short way around the course, and all of the other girls are taking the long way around the course. Yeah, so also just hats off to the Go Fast women there. I don't know any of their names or anything, but this is great representation. I mean, often you get a Cat 5 or a women's field of 6 riders, 8 riders. They have to combine them with the 3s. It doesn't make a good experience. But another thing I want to point out here about talking about lines, a lot of the younger riders, and some of them are juniors, if you look at the lines they take, and this is just my assumption, they take the lines as if they're in a car. They stay on the right side of the road. When they make a turn, they actually stay in the right turning lane that a car would stay in, but in no way is that the optimum line around the course, and in no way is that the racing line. So they'll learn with experience, and I think some of the other girls knew better, but didn't want to take the front and do that work on the front, so they just fell in line and kept the slow pace because it's comfortable. And someone like Felicia, she has a decent sprint, so that's gonna work to their advantage.
So here it's starting to get a little bit faster. It seems like every time coming to the start-finish line, the pace picks up a little bit, stretches out just a little bit, but still it did not feel unmanageable. So I was definitely a little bit surprised and happy with just fitness level and being able to stay together. Here comes one of my teammates, Emily, and Evy's right up in front of her. This was Evy's first race, and she was very nervous but did an awesome job.
Yeah, another thing to point out, if you see this cadence here on these the junior women, juniors are limited to the gearing they can run, so they have incredibly high cadence. You see them bouncing out of the seat. Well, they're doing 28 miles per hour with junior gearing, so I wouldn't be surprised if their cadence is well into the 100s, 110, stuff like that. But they're gonna learn. That's gonna keep their joints a little fresh and things like that, and they're gonna learn how to create power through cadence. Kind of bunched up here. We're like, what are you thinking here? Were you ever thinking when it slows down like this is like the perfect time to do an attack?
Well, I was trying to stick to what we'd kind of said to see about halfway through how it felt, but no, I definitely was thinking, gosh, this is so much easier than I thought it was going to be.
See, there you go. Look at the girl in the black on the right. It's too slow. She goes for an attack. That's what happens when the pace slows down. Sorry to cut you off, but that's what happens when the pace slows down, and that's one of the reasons when you have teammates, if you have a plan, someone keeps the tempo up high. You don't want to, blow all your energy or anything like that, but sometimes you'll dedicate someone when the pace slows down to either attack or just to stay on the front and stay at a whatever pace you want. That's called controlling the race.
And that is what I was planning on doing here about midway through, is just maybe trying to see if I can move around in the peloton a little bit, which I've never really done in the past. I've just kind of tried to hang on or manage. I have struggled moving even up some places, but I was already kind of thinking that with about 5 laps to go, which I think we're going to be coming up on 5 laps to go when we come around, and I was just going to kind of see how it felt to move up and maybe go to the front.
You know, those are some pretty flashy reels. But look at them staying in the lane. Don't go across that double yellow. God forbid you go across that double yellow and take the faster line there. So, no, I'm just giving the ladies a hard time. They're out there competing and doing a great job. But yeah, definitely can do some work on race lines, optimum line, and then also how to protect, especially when you have teammates. SDBC, I believe they had 5 women in the race, and we had 4. So, you know, as we move on through the season and start learning some race tactics, they'll be able to protect lines, also do a little blocking and things like that, and just get a little more tactical of the on the race. Also, another thing that you find in all levels of like beginning racing, probably from Cat 3 down. Cat 3s are obviously a lot better at it, but if you look at how high the women are sitting up, you see the same thing in the 4-5 races, and you'll see some of the bigger riders that stay in the drop. A smaller rider will have their head higher than a larger rider just from sitting position, and our heads are the least aerodynamic, and we'll catch a lot of wind like that. You can save a lot of energy just staying in the drops. You got to condition your core in order to keep that pressure off your arms, though. And I also believe the young lady on the right there with the black or blue and kind of like a light blue stripe across, I believe this is her first race too. I forgot her name, but Felicia introduced her to me after the race, and she did a great job as well, being her first race and just staying with the pack.
And here I come up to Emily, and I'm going to just kind of let her know it's 5 laps to go, which is what we heard at the last cross of the start-finish line. So pretty soon I'm going to just make a move and kind of go to the front and see if I'm able to do that, which I thought I would be able to just because of the wide lines that were being taken, and sure enough I'm able to, just in about 2 corners, move from the back to the front of the peloton. I wasn't trying to put in an attack and go all out, but I just wanted to do a little bit of an effort and just test it out. I didn't really have too much of a game plan, but just wanted to, you know, move around and kind of test the waters, I guess.
Well, this is what we were saying. You know, the pace was down to 17 miles per hour. Anytime it gets slow, people get antsy. So, yeah, you know, you say you didn't want to attack really, but that's just a natural instinct. When the pace gets that slow, someone attacks. You guys are doing 120, 140 watts. You're up to 250 plus now and doing 22 miles per hour. So it's not necessarily that you want to attack, but it's kind of hard to sit in a stagnant pace like that. So no, I think it was good. Don't let people rest too much. Unless you're a sprinter, do not let that pace slow down like that.
And then this is where we started to have some, adventures in the race. Coming up on the start-finish line, now the announcement is going to be 3 laps to go. So it just was 5, and then it's 3. We have another, adventure on the next lap, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Yeah,
let me clarify that for a second, too, because I don't want to think that Majestic didn't do a good job or anything. What happened was the power went out, and the start-finish balloon, like the finish line, it fell and was across the road. They had to pull everything off that, had electronics, and so they basically lost scoring for a lap, and it kind of got confusing. So no fault of theirs, and they did the best they can. It was just unfortunate for the girls that there was some confusion.
Yeah, so here I'm out in the wind, and I feel some people on me. I'm hoping that people start passing me again so I can get back and rest in the peloton. I wasn't really anticipating leading as long as I see that I am. It didn't feel like that long when I was actually doing it. But seeing in the race, it was maybe half a lap or so. But here some people start to come by me, and I'm able to just jump back in and rest in the peloton. And I was surprised at how easy it felt to recover with just maybe less than a lap of
I think you
of
can
saving some
give credit
energy.
to Hot Comb on that one. 3 sets of 30-30s would do that recovery. Do that recovery some good. So no, I think that was an excellent pull. Basically, when you do structured training and you know what your zones are, you know how long you can hold certain watts. I mean, you basically held 250 for a few minutes. That's just like a 4-minute VO2 effort, and you do that on a regular, so you know you can recover from it.
The problem is, though, I never really looked down at my power or my heart rate or my cadence. I was just out there riding, and I went a lot more off of perceived effort, which I definitely didn't think that I was doing that many watts out in the front of the pack.
See, that's one you should have just ran with and just took credit for it. You should have just took credit and be like, yeah, through all of my structured training and, repeated hill climbs with a log on my back dragging a dog, things like that. But no, it was a great job. And here's the same thing. Evie and Carolyn's going up front. And I think basically it was unfortunate because you guys had a good plan going here, and the laps ended up throwing off the plan because it said 2 laps to go, and our team is thinking there's 2 laps to go, and it ends up being 3 laps to go.
Yeah, pretty soon there's going to be the motorcycle pace motorcycle. They're going to be pulling up and telling us to stop at the line. So that's going to definitely throw some things off. Here, Carolyn's out front. She's kind of looking back. I think she's not wanting to be out in the wind at this point. Maybe kind of testing and seeing where she's at. But I think she ended up out front for maybe a lap or
Yeah, she
or
basically
two.
was out front for a lap, but the confusion was it should have been only 1 lap to go, and it ends up being another lap to go. So Carolyn ended up, unfortunately, being on the front for almost a lap, and that just kind of shot a little bit of her energy, so she didn't have the same type of punch on the next lap when she needed it, or on the last lap, I'm sorry, when she needed it. And again, it's no fault of anyone's. It was just unfortunate circumstances. It was a windy day. I believe when they come through the start-finish this time, you should notice that there is no start-finish line because the wind blew the power out, and they had to kind of make some adjustments on the fly. You see Felicia here too, with her experience. She's been kind of playing it quiet, saving her energy, and now that it's 2 laps to go, she's kind of moving up, getting into good position, kind of staying in the top 10 now.
And here you see the motorcycle driver telling us to stop at the line. So I don't know if you can hear the race, but we're kind of telling each other stop at the line, so we're slowing down.
Yeah, I guess the only minor criticism I can say is they did tell the ladies that they needed to stop at the line, so they probably should have stopped them at the line to explain. But when the ladies get to the line, then they roll them through. Some other girls that were off the back caught up as well, which that's just how it rolls. That's just life. But it set so much confusion in the girls now. They don't know what's going on, and our girls had already started putting a strategy in place, thinking that they only had 1 to go. And instead of this being the last lap, now there's a complete second lap also. So, but the girls don't know. They don't know if this is last lap or 2 laps. So that's the only criticism. But they did the best they could at the time. And, everyone was kind of in the same boat. So it's still fair to everyone, but it's just unfortunate.
And here I did not go down to an easier gear for the stop at the line. So I got a little bit dropped here, not completely dropped, but there's definitely some separation, and I'm feeling a little tired. My heart rate is going up, which prior to this race I hadn't seen much above 170, and I think my max heart rate is 175 in this race, and it's up to, as you can see, 170 here. But I didn't panic either because I knew that a few of these corners it slows down pretty significantly.
Yeah, it's crazy too because you guys regroup here pretty good, and I just want to give a shout out to the young lady here in the black and gray. I'm not sure of her name. I think her team was kind of across from us, and from what I heard, they're going to start up a new team. I'm not sure the name of the team, but not sure if it was her birthday or some type of celebration, but they had a good party going on across from us, offered us food, things like that. So it's great to see, a lot of people that turned out today and just having a good, fun atmosphere. And, the women raced really well together, and it's just good to see a lot of women getting out there to have their chance, because I know a lot of women have talked about racing and they're afraid because they don't get a 20-person field like this. And we'd like to see 50 or 60 or sell out one day, just like the 4s and 5 do for the men.
Slow down. I'm not quite there to selling out with the 70 racers. This was about my speed for right now. Let's keep it at about 20. This feels manageable. So, I know you're coaching, but you got to slow it down.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think this was there had been 2 laps to go, and it was 2 laps to go again.
Yeah.
So, definitely throws things a little bit off, but I was able to kind of get back with the group now and again recover. So, yeah, I think those sprints, even though they feel like death at the time, definitely helped out in this race.
Yeah, 30-30 for the win. I mean, I hate doing them, but I love prescribing them. So, yeah, great VO2 workout. So, yeah, and unfortunately for our teammate Carolyn here, see, she was on the front the whole time, and then this isn't the last lap. So now she's going to have to recover and try to make her way, try to hold all this energy for a whole nother lap, when obviously she wouldn't have been on the front if she knew we had a full another lap to go. So, again, it's just bad circumstances, but we regrouped pretty good and the team did well.
Yeah, I actually think it's 2 laps to go this again.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
So because I'm gonna actually do
point magnified.
a purposeful hard pull with maybe 1 to go, and that was, I think I actually made a race move that was intentional, and I wanted to kind of stretch it out a little bit. So you'll see that coming up pretty soon, and I was just hoping to maybe put Carolyn in a position to do well.
So just another teaching moment. The young lady in the white, she has a good riding position and everything else. She came up, but then she turned her head to the right for some reason and almost got her wheel chopped. They almost touched wheels. And really, the race is in front of you, and this is not a criticism of her. This is just kind of a teaching point, because I see it in our race as well. People like to look back a lot, and the race is in front of you. When you look back in a bunch, that's a perfect opportunity for you to get your wheel chopped, and then down you go.
Overall, the race felt incredibly safe and comfortable. I saw maybe just a tiny bit of bumping. And then here coming up in a minute, there'll be a little bit of a sketchy moment. So I'll try to pay attention and point that out. But surprisingly, I did not panic. I didn't even feel that nervous. Just paying attention, being in the drops, feeling stable. You're able to move around a little bit and not panic. So try to point that out when it's coming up. I thought we were a little closer, but I think it's this maybe next corner.
No, it's on the next lap, actually. Yeah, and, luckily you guys know each other. You guys are just saying hi, that's all.
Mm-hmm.
Some people say if you're not rubbing, you're not racing, but, on a bicycle, let's keep our hands to ourselves.
Okay, so here is, I might have had things even backwards. Here is where I do
This your Froome. This your Chris.
Pull up the.
This the Chris Froome's attack number 2. You're trying to go off the front solo.
Yeah, so this definitely doesn't last as long, but I am trying to put in a move here and make the pace a little bit hotter. Again, not trying to attack and break away, but just trying to speed things up a little bit. And you can see I'm up to 23 miles an hour, which is.
That's all 400 watts. So, yeah, if you're doing 400 watts, that's an attack. 400 watts is an attack. And honestly, this is awesome because you're racing your bike. That's the important thing. You're out there, you're racing your bike, you're gaining experience, and you're learning. I wait for the day that I can do race moves, and pull them off.
And here Emily goes by me and she says, hop on. So I don't quite get onto her wheel, but there's a junior here and I'm able to jump on her wheel. I am feeling pretty gassed right now, but I'm able to stay on for a second. And then this junior, I actually just noticed it when we come around the front. She kind of keeps looking back and she's able to see when someone passes and jump right on their wheel. So excellent riding and awareness by this rider. I'm feeling gassed and a little bit out here in the wind, and a lot of people kind of take over. So great job.
And another point here, so Emily was out on the front trying to get away, and honestly, if she takes a better line there to the inside, no one can come underneath her. You force them to go around the wide side, and Emily would actually still be in front. Not only would the junior not have been able to, I think her name is Scott, I can't remember her first name, but if she wouldn't have been able to come underneath, and the other person wouldn't have been able to come underneath if she just takes a tighter line there. So this is Emily's only second crit ever, and her first one was like 3 years ago in New York. So yeah, she's learning as well, but she did a great job, and that was a great effort off the front there.
Yeah, so I think here's a little moment maybe.
Yep, right there.
And I had an involuntary, I think I did a woo, and and Darren said sorry, and I said, hey, we're upright, it's all good, and we ride on.
And if you look at Darren, where her hands are, they're in the drop, stable riding position. You're in the drop, stable riding position. You guys bumped. You're able to control your front wheel and your handlebars, and there was no problem.
When we actually didn't quite bump. So I was able to avoid. She came over a little, and I was able to, I didn't do a hard swerve, but I was able to just move over a little bit, and I don't think cause any damage to any other riders.
Yep, everybody stayed upright. Stay on two wheels. So here we are coming into the finale. What are you thinking now?
Right now, I'm just thinking I definitely need more experience to know kind of when to make that hard effort, but I was feeling really happy. I didn't care about the end results at this race. I felt like I did what I had tried to do and just actually race, do a move. So I felt like my effort was the lap before, so I know that I'm definitely not in good position here, but I'm still going to give it a good effort when it gets down to it. So I'm putting in some pretty heavy watts here, but I still feel okay. And yeah, just looking to the future, kind of knowing when to make those moves and put that hard effort in to put yourself in good position on the last lap where it really matters. But I just know that that'll come with experience, and I'm gonna try to sprint here, and there's one girl in front of me, and my goal was just to come across the line in front of her. So that's what I tried to do, and I think I was able to do that successfully, and it was definitely just a lot of fun.
Yeah, and to put it in perspective, it's you just pulled off the front half a lap ago. So yeah, that's a pretty good recovery. I mean, I know you can sprint at like 600-700 watts, but you did get her at the line here, and yeah, it's just, that's just good recovery there. You had already did your job. You already did the pull. So yeah, it was an awesome ride. I think it was a great experience for you guys.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I think we all had fun. I'm going to come up to Carolyn and see where she placed. She, I think, was thinking she came in about 5th. Turns out it was 6th. Something that was also interesting is they called us all over to behind the podium because of I believe maybe the mishap. They didn't get all the numbers, so they were asking people about the place they came in to fill in the gaps for who they were able to track across.
With the power outage, they lost scoring, so they only had so many numbers that came across. I don't know if they were trying to do it manually at that point, but they were only able to track so many numbers, and then they had to go off the honor system to fill in the blanks. So either way, it was a great job. Thanks to Majestic for hosting the event, and yeah, it was good.
And I was just talking to Felicia, who ended up winning. So again, great job to her, and congratulations.